How you doing? Welcome to the Punk Rock Review. Thank you for joining us today. This video is a little bit different. So I have three friends who I do a movie podcast with every week, and we do it on my friend Josh's channel, Cinema Studies. That's what this is. Whenever there's a conversation that relates to punk or like heavy music in general, we often put it on my channel as well. It kind of helps bring a new audience to what we're doing over on his channel. So if you like this video, please go check out his channel. It's linked in the description. He's a very good friend of mine and does excellent work. So if you're into film, go check out his channel. Now, this conversation is about a movie called Ladies and Gentlemen, The Fabulous Stains. It's interesting. So I'm not going to go into detail now because we're about to do that in this talk. But yeah, if you're into Riot Grrrl stuff and you haven't heard of this movie, you should go check it out. But anyways, I hope you enjoy the conversation. Go check out Josh's channel, and thanks for hanging out.
I think chefs and punk rock like actually kind of go together a bit.
Oh, dude, yeah. Yeah, you get to think on your own, do your own thing, kind of
be creative,
work for yourself,
yeah.
Be creative. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, makes sense. Y'all ready to go?
Yep.
No.
All right, let's do it. Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Talking Movies. My name is Josh, and we're talking about Randy's pick this week. This is, ladies and gentlemen, The Fabulous Stains from 1982.
Yep.
All right, Randy, lay it on us. What is this?
It is a movie about some girls. In a
Podcast
band.
over.
I know, right?
Later.
Oh, okay. So The Fabulous Stains, excuse me, ladies and gentlemen, The Fabulous. I'm just trying to call
you
it.
You just call it Fabulous Stains. We don't need
to. The Fabulous Stains is a movie that I stumbled across this. So just to be clear, before we go any further, I had never seen this movie. I had only heard about it, but I had heard about it before, but it had been a long time and I never watched it. So when it popped back up on my radar, it just felt like I needed to watch it. I'm doing this video series on women in punk. This movie influenced a lot of people. We'll talk about that in a few minutes, but this is a movie about a group of girls that want to play in a band. They basically get made fun of and bullied, basically almost out of playing. Then they stumble across like a cheat code, essentially, take advantage of a situation, and then all of a sudden, boom, they're like pretty famous for a couple of young girls, and they kind of have the epic rise and then the also epic fall of brief stardom. And yeah, man, it's just it's a girl power movie basically, but it's within the confines of a punk rock, genre. It's interesting, man. It's it is what it is. It's still a movie from the 80s. That's this dude. He also did
Lou Adler. Yeah. He's done two movies. He directed this and Cheech and Chong.
Oh.
The first Cheech and Chong movie.
Yeah, he also did some other stuff though. Lou Adler's is like
he's a big music producer.
Right. Yeah. So like that's what kind of got me interested. But it's also got you have like Laura Dern, maybe her first ever appearance.
I think it's Diane
Lane's first.
Diane Lane and Laura Dern's first
movies. You've also got Steve Jones and Paul Cook of the Sex Pistols, Paul Simonon of the Clash. Dude, you got dudes from the Tubes in this movie, but you also have Ray Winstone in I think one of his first roles.
I didn't check, but I was thinking it has to be. It's super early.
You can't even tell it's him if you're not paying attention. Like, I was on my second watch through before I realized that's who it was.
Yeah, it didn't look like him at first. I was like, okay,
I could tell
that's got to be him though.
But
it's got to be him. But
it's like it's a movie about one brief period in time. It's not even done particularly well, but it tells a story that I think is kind of important. Like the end of the movie, I think is pretty bad. The editing is pretty terrible, but I did enjoy the movie. I don't know how else to explain it. There's some, this movie from like a cinephile's perspective is pretty bad. But I don't watch movies like that. So like, I don't, it just depends on who you are and what you're looking for.
Yeah, no, I kind of enjoyed the movie. It's like a 3.5 star for me probably, but I enjoyed it.
Bro.
I enjoyed it for what it was. I like the angle of it because we've watched so many of these, rock star movies, and to see a band that's actually not even really good, but still like find an avenue, like they have something. Diane Lane in particular has something to say. You know, she has a real like.
She got an angle.
She's got an angle. She has a feeling, and she's not afraid to show it. And she just kind of rides that wave. And the double-edged sword of what that creates is an interesting angle that you don't see as much. So I enjoyed that for what it was.
I mean, these are like high school girls, man, going off on a tour. Like it shows you a whole different side of what music could be and what it was. I mean, this is kind of like what it was back then. You just did it, and if you didn't do it right, you didn't do it right. If you met some CD people and signed a bad contract, then you signed a bad I mean, this is why all these artists now don't want to sign contracts with anybody because of stuff like this back in the 80s and the 70s and probably early on in the 60s and 50s. And you know, it's cool to see it from a girl's perspective or woman's perspective, female's perspective, whatever. But you know, they are young, they are pissed off. Like the importance of this movie is a bigger deal than the movie itself, in my opinion. So you know, none of y'all had even heard of this or anything, right?
I'd heard of it.
Had you?
Yeah.
I didn't even heard of it. I was gonna say, like, I imagine it's a lot of dumb luck too. Like nowadays, everything is just so overly saturated. You know, I mean, I hear so many people say like, "Oh, just music sucks these days." It's like, no, it doesn't suck. There's so much of it that it's just so oversaturated that, like, back in the day, I mean, it was just kind of dumb luck. You get in front of the right person, you know, the right eyes on you. I mean, you never know what's going to happen. You know, it's going to bounce you along. You know, you find yourself on a little tour, and somebody might see that, and yeah, a lot of it is just dumb luck. But
well, like a tiny little radio spot or television spot back then was worth, like, I mean, what's the equivalent today? Getting like a Kardashian to talk about your stuff on Instagram. I mean, I'm serious though. Like, that's what that is. So they end up on TV by complete accident. And they just, and then that one newswoman is tired of that dude's crap, and so she's just like, I'm gonna push them. It was very circumstantial and very dumb luck, but you know, Clay, how much did you hate this movie? I can just feel it.
Yeah, I figured he'd be the odd man out on this one.
I want to be supportive, right? I know that this is your shtick, and I don't want to, you know, shit on this because
bro, I don't care.
No, but I think I'll probably just take a back seat on this podcast. But it was, you know, I don't know who any of these people are that you mentioned from any of the bands. I didn't even know it was Diane Lane until you said her name 3 times.
Oh, really? You didn't know?
Yeah. No, I didn't look up any of the credits. I was just like, my God, like, let me just, this was like Jesus Christ Superstar was to you guys. Like, I was just let it end. And
man, there was no way it was that bad. Really?
Yeah,
that's crazy. Hey, whatever though. Teach their own. Man, I'm not even a little surprised actually.
I think the acting was pretty terrible. Like the Rasta guy, his lines were just,
I loved him.
Me too.
His lines were dumb, but I loved him.
Yeah, I liked him too.
But I see like the point, right? I see, you know, there was a lot of sort of it was sort of the bedrock of feminism, I think, and so a lot of these ideas were new. Women were still generally housewives. They weren't going to college, or they weren't rock stars. Like generally, I don't know. Maybe, you know, I wasn't around back then, but I would guess like that was a very minority of women. So it's important to that regard. I think, like you said, the message is probably more dynamic than the movie is. And I can respect that, right? So you know, I want to be on board with that. I don't want to just, and I didn't know that was Diane Lane. She's a real cutie. You know, obviously she's very young in this movie, but she's like 14,
15,
16, I think. Yeah.
And she does deliver her lines very proudly and deliberately. And I was like, hey man, she's got some, you know, acting prowess. Now that you mention it, like even at such a young age. I kept thinking, like, who's this chick? She looks familiar. I don't really know. Okay, you know, but so it was cool, man. I mean, you know.
Well, it also had Laura Dern.
So I supported the cause.
You bought it?
I bought it on Amazon. Yeah, $10.
Oh, okay.
So I rented it because I was pretty sure I was going to like it, and I was going to buy a hard copy, and that's eventually what I'm fixing to do is buy a hard copy. This one has to be in my collection. So the thing about this movie, it isn't we can all agree that the movie itself, just based on like, is this a good movie? It's really not. Okay. But what this movie did and who it influenced is so monumentally important in my world. Is kind of crazy. Like I knew about this movie, but I didn't know about it in any other context other than it was a movie about a punk band, right?
Mm-hmm.
When I was reading the book on Kathleen Hanna, I'm pretty sure it was that book. One of the books I was reading recently, this was brought up. This movie directly inspired like Riot Grrrl, which is I'm making a whole video on just that. And that's a 90s movement. It's a handful of bands. It's a moment in time, but like everything from their stage presence and their clothing directly affected this group of people that I now look back on and go, oh, I want to make a video on these guys, like these people, these women, right? It's just insane how much something like this can have an impact on something. I don't know. It just feels kind of crazy to me because this movie is cited as a direct influence on specifically the Riot Grrrl movement, which is a very specific thing in itself. So,
it's like before this movie, I mean, you had like, you know, the Janis Joplins and Stevie Nicks, Fleetwood Mac.
Airplane.
You know, yeah, there's a few. I mean, there's a few more I'm not meant, but like, and you know, and relative to the men, you know, men bands, like, you know, and until this, like there was nothing essentially.
Dude, you had the Runaways, which produced Joan Jett.
Yeah,
You had
that's what I was thinking. Yeah.
You had Bags, which was Alice Bags' group. You had oh my goodness, not many. I mean, there wasn't a ton.
But they were also like not all girl bands either. They were just like
the Runaways would
female fronted.
Right. The Runaways is the one I'm thinking of with all women in it. Let's see what else would be all women, man. Like, yeah, that's kind of the thing. You're not wrong.
Yeah.
Because so between this movie and then the group called X-Ray Specs, which was a band around this time as well, those two things developed a sound that is like in the 90s, this big important thing. It is really strange how that can happen, man. I mean, I'm excited to see what people in the comments tell me because I'm not I don't know everything about this. I'm trying to learn more about it, and it's just I can see the importance in this. When I watch this movie, I go, oh wow, that's kind of crazy. Like, the movie kind of sucks, but like, I can see all these things that I just see a direct relation to. It's I don't know. It's mind blowing. I don't have a whole lot to say about it. It's the only issue is that the movie isn't super deep. It's not very long. There's not a lot of character building. So like, it's cool to watch this movie with some of the dudes from the Sex Pistols and the Clash, and it's got early performances from these two women who went on to do quite a bit of stuff, especially Laura Dern. I mean, she looks like. I mean, I was looking at her. I was like, dude, she looks like she's 12 in this movie. She's still really tall, but the hair in this movie drove me nuts.
Yeah,
the wigs and stuff drove me nuts. But like
the skunk hair, you weren't digging the skunk hair.
It was so bad.
Yeah, like the whatever the like the opening band, the one that she kind of befriends a little bit. Like they weren't too bad, but I mean, like the main. I mean, it was kind of a point that the main band they were opening for in the beginning, they sucked. And then
Burnouts,
and then like every other little band that they tried out one a little bit later, I think, and like they all really sucked. I mean, even this, like, the Stains sucked, and then they kind of just ripped off that dude.
Oh, they definitely did that.
Stole a song,
played his song, and got famous off of stealing a song.
I mean, Elvis did that too, so
it's kind of tough to see like the men sort of gatekeep that whole situation, right? They're always making passes at the chicks, and they're sort of in the middle of this hands-off movement already, and they don't respect that at all, and they don't respect their position or their right to be there. They're just, it's really tough to watch to that regard for me, sort of. So, but I'm in finance, and it's a sausage fest too. And that back in the day, it was the same way. It was a frat house, and if you're a woman there, you got
Wolf of Wall Street.
You're like crap. It's like that's how it be.
Yeah, like I was hoping that the Rasta dude was kind of gonna give him like a little bit of like early ska sound. I was hoping they were gonna go in that direction,
right?
Hanging out with that dude.
Yeah, no, I agree with with that for sure.
But,
I like the stuff with the mom. There's that scene at the beginning.
Exactly
with
what
the
I was
mom.
fixing to say.
That was
And then
good,
then when she pops back up on the TV at the end, it's like she says she doesn't say what you're expecting to hear. I think.
Well, that's because I think they're trying to say something in this movie. Again,
yeah,
you know, how good the movie is or isn't really what's important. They go out and they do this thing, and the two girls are like, one thing we didn't even talk about is the two girls are sisters, and then Laura Dern's their cousin, and they all lived together with that lady because those other girls' mom passed away. And it's like, these girls are going through it, man. Emotionally, they're out there trying to make it. Like they're young, they don't have no direction. They're like smoking cigarettes, like going on this punk tour.
That was
like
their only option too. Like they're about to get kicked out of her mom died, and she wasn't going to have any place to live. So that was it.
It's funny because without going into too much detail, because I'm just going to repeat myself on the actual video, but like Riot Grrrl started because exactly what this movie was showing us is what was happening. Girls would go to shows and they would either be like sexually harassed or they wouldn't be taken seriously. They were treated horribly. And so they started wanting like to have girls play punk shows. They wanted the girls at the front of the stage. They didn't want dudes touching them. They wanted to bring up sexual harassment, rape, things like that. They wanted to just talk about all these problems and bring light to things. And, for a brief moment in time, that stuff was, I think it really could have exploded. I mean, there's another little second bump later on in like the 2010s of this kind of music. But I mean, there's like 3 or 4 bands that were really important. There's even other women that weren't in punk that I think took from this, like Alanis Morissette and Fiona Apple, are musicians that have that attitude and that stuff running through their bones, man. You can just listen to their interviews, read them, watch them on TV. You can see it. You can listen to their music and hear it. But like, I don't know. It's a really important launch pad, more or less, in my opinion. But it is also kind of a silly, fun movie. It's weird too because it's not like a feel good movie. Like you would think a movie like this would be a feel good movie, and it kind of ends on a bummer. Like you're like, huh, like. That's weird.
Yeah, it does, and then it like suddenly ramps back up, and she sees all these people wearing her clothes and stuff, and then it goes into a music video. So it's like
it
ends on a happy note.
Yeah, it takes a few leaps there in the end,
right?
And like I didn't really know it was gonna be like a comedy at the beginning, and so I had like a few chuckles. I was like, I don't know if I'm supposed to be laughing at this. I was like, okay, no, it's like it's supposed to be funny. There's some good laughs in it, mainly from Rasta Dude and the burnout band that like they get cocaine and the dude dies and they just open the door to him dead.
That's pretty sad.
I think that was kind of trying to show us like, look at this other guy's reaction to that. Look at how he's thinking. He's not worried about his friend. He's only like, wait a minute, I can't play my show.
Yeah,
I got my makeup on already.
Totally
like
selfish.
Yeah, he was like a one-hit wonder and never amounted to anything. But
I know a lot of guys that behave just like that dude, unfortunately.
And just talks constantly about what his lyrics mean and how deep they are and everything. It's just like, oh my God, stop.
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah.
But yeah, I dug it. Like everybody else mentioned, there's got problems, but I dug it.
I mean, I sincerely appreciate y'all sitting through it, man. Once I watched it, I was like, oof, man, they're not going to dig this one. I didn't think any of y'all were going to like it at all, but it's
right at an hour. Yeah,
it's real short.
I paused it and I was like, oh shit, I'm halfway through this son of a gun. Like,
it's real short. It's real short.
Yeah.
And so I really enjoyed it, but it's only because of what it means to me personally. Because
contextually,
yeah. So like, I really liked it, but I definitely was like, oh, I'm probably going to get roasted in this one. But I appreciate you guys not smacking me in the head.
Yeah, but, it's not like a technically well-made movie, but I don't think it's like a bad movie.
It's no bad Milo.
It's
no.
It's not that rough.
I think this is a go ahead
story with the women heroes. I mean, I'm all about that whole thing. I love aliens and all that because of that. And horror movie is always has the woman hero, right? She's
Right.
the final girl.
Final
right?
girl.
This is kind of final girl for punk for me. I was like, you know what? It's
Yeah.
I can see. This wasn't for me, but it's all
Yeah.
good. Yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
cool to be able to see the direct lines to some things that I like and things that I don't even necessarily know a lot about. It's so blatantly obvious to me, and I'm like, wow, that's crazy, dude. Like, even the makeup, the way she's chanting on stage, dude. Go listen to like X-Ray Specs, and then go listen to La Tigre or Bikini Kill, and the way that those women are singing, it is directly from this. Like, it's just a screechy, yelly monotone, like yeah, not a lot of melody in it, and it's very anthemic and very all these girls are like, we don't care, we want to be like them, we want to dress like them, we want to be like them, screw the boys. And to a certain degree it's kind of like roll your eyes, I guess, if you're being honest about it. But at the same time, it's really kind of nice to see. I like to see community. I like to see people come together. I really, especially with what I'm doing personally, like I rely on my community for a lot of stuff. So it's nice to see these movies about a community. I don't know. It's a cool little launching. It's a weird movie to be the launching of 3 careers, dude.
Yeah.
Because it's not a good movie. So it's weird.
It's a really tiny movie too. And I was reading some Wikipedia stuff, and they were saying it got shelved for like years before it even came out. So it's weird that it would even kind of surface at all.
Back in the day, like your point at the beginning was like there was no internet. It was all generally word of mouth or radio, right? So to find this movie in its release day, would probably be like, holy shit, like, have you seen this? Right? It's pretty underground, and now I kind of probably take that.
It's probably because it is connected to a community like that, a tight-knit community. Same way, like early 80s, there wasn't that many punk rock movies yet. It's like still an emerging thing. We were talking about that when we did Out of the Blue. It's just
Y'all didn't watch that Swedish movie with me, did you? Of the girls that started a punk band? I didn't bring that one up on the show, did I?
don't think so.
So this guy made a video of, I think it was like 12 great punk movies, and it was just happened to be my cue. It was so random that I watched this because I normally wouldn't watch a list like that because I felt like I knew a lot about that, right? Oh, I was mistaken, man. I clicked on this video. I'd say like 8 out of the 12 I'd never even heard of. A couple of them would be ones like this that I'd heard of but never seen. Only a couple I knew about. And I mean, it had none of the stuff that I thought it was going to have in there. And it wasn't about documentaries. There was one, I think it's called like We're the Best or something like that. I'll send a text later. And it's interesting, man, to see all these movies that I didn't know existed. That I bet you all these women that are in these bands that I liked when I was in high school, and then that they inspired bands that are out now, I bet they all watched all these movies, dude, because back in the day that's what you had to do, is go find this stuff. And I bet they were written up in punk magazines, like, hey, this movie came out, it's like little, but you can get it on VHS.
Right. Any little thing that you can find is just priceless. Yeah.
Well, dude, when I was 16, I would be walking to the grocery store, and like the other day I was at a convenience store and they had a newsstand. And I don't know how long it's been since I've seen a newsstand. I mean, all these magazines, bro, were ancient. I don't know what this was going on. I feel like I walked to a time portal or something. But like when I was young, I would go to every single time I saw a magazine rack. I'd walk over there. I don't care how little it was. If it had something to do with a punk band, I'm buying it. And so, I didn't have access to Maximum Rock and Roll till I was a little older, and because that was probably the biggest fanzine. But like,
what about Hit Parader?
Oh, dude, all that stuff was important to me, man. I had to buy metal magazines because it's the only thing I could get my hands on. But like, I still to this day now produce my own zine, and I still subscribe to one. Like, that stuff's important. But that's how you would have heard about stuff like this. So I imagine it was probably some small, tiny, very loyal following to this stuff, and it was probably watched by some people that really took it as a inspiration and ran with it. I mean, Kathleen Hanna, I can tell you for a fact, loves this movie. And that woman's incredibly important to me. So
I love that, man. Going to the magazine racks when I was a kid. You
Dude,
go to the station with your parents, and I would run in there to see if they had Trans World or BMX magazines, and then
Thrasher, bro.
Fangoria and Gore Zone. I remember going to Florida for vacation and walking into a gas station and be like, "Oh my God, Gore Zone, what's that?" It's just going nuts. My parents were like, no, you're not buying Gore Zone. It was just awesome, man. That was like a real find. When you were a kid, you walked in and found a magazine that was like, whoa, they don't have this in Little Rock. Like, dude.
Check this out.
Yeah, I miss magazines.
Hold on 1 second. Oh shit!
They still have them, but you know,
it's not.
It's not the same anymore. But yeah, I bought my share of hit paraders and
your buddy would have like a Trans World from like you're like, whoa, what's Trans World? Like,
and then like AP Alternative Press.
Nice.
Dude, I speaking of alternative press,
there you go. Yep.
Yeah, dude, I love this stuff, man. I got lots of it still.
Cool.
But yeah, that's how everything was found back in the day. I mean, I remember very clearly writing a letter to, I think it was Epitaph, the guys that did Rancid and Bad Religion, and sending a check with a checklist of what I wanted, with a check that included money to send it back. And like, it might have been 2 or 3 months before I got my box, and it had like but back then an LP was like $9 shipped, and a CD was like $15. Now it's like, flip flopped and then multiplied. But yeah, it was interesting, man. You'd get this box and I forgot I ordered something. What did I order? I can't remember. You'd open it up and be like, oh, dude, yes, dude. Very rarely did I have enough money to accidentally buy double, so it was never really an issue back then. But yeah, man, this really does have the spirit of punk running through it for sure. The DNA of this movie is very, very punk rock. All the people in it are from that world. I don't know. It's a little gem to me, dude. I'm surprised that y'all actually got through it. Honestly, man, it was pretty bad, but I liked it.
Yeah. It was like, it was rough in spots, but I was never bored. I was always, enjoying myself for the most part.
We're here for you, Randy.
I think, man, if they had just like fleshed out the kind of second half of the movie a little bit better, because it does seem like they just they hop on this bus and they play like 5 shows, and they go from nothing and sucking to headlining in like 5 shows when they don't even know how to play.
Right.
Well, we didn't even talk about the fact that they were doing this. Like what they were standing for was interesting, because they were like young girls. And they made it a point to be like, we don't put out. And like, they're not going to be a bunch of like slutty women that go around and use their body to get what they want. They want to like get wherever they're going based on their credentials and their work ethic and all that stuff, right? Which I can imagine how much harder that was in 43 years ago. But
also using their sexuality too.
It was weird, dude.
Yeah.
It was real strange. Like, but I think that with every good movement, and that includes punk, that includes feminism, that includes Riot Grrrl, all that stuff, dude, there's these contradictions in all of it. It's with everything, man, with politics, with all of it, man. So it doesn't really surprise me, but it's so blatant and in your face in this movie. You're like, oh man, they don't put out, but she sure just did, I think, right? And
right.
Like interesting. Although I think she was trying to be like in with that dude, and then I think she misunderstood something and got all mad, got emotional. I don't know. This really does, while representing women and being like the foundation for a movement in itself, it does shine a light on some flaws on people think, because it was kind of accurate. Like, she does that. The dude does something that she misunderstands. She blows up. He goes try to fix it. She doesn't want to listen. I'm like, man, that happened yesterday, bro. Like, what are we doing? Like, that's so accurate.
Yeah.
People contradict themselves all the time.
Yeah. Yeah. I was just like, how old was this guy?
I love this movie.
Oh, dude. So that's the thing that I was looking at recently. What movie was I watching? I can't remember, but the guy in the movie was like 50, and the woman was like, he's like, how old are you? And she's like 19, and he's like, oh man, just right, or whatever. And then like they're hanging out and like sleeping together, and I was like, is he dropping her off at school? I was like, what in the world? And it was like, I wish I could remember what movie it was, because it was a very famous person. The guy was very famous. The woman was famous. But they were like 35 years apart. And it just wasn't even weird back then. Like 25-year-olds dated 17-year-olds, 25-year-olds dated 16-year-olds back in the 60s and 50s, and probably even the 80s. I mean, listen to the music, dude. It's crazy.
Yeah, isn't that what Lolita was? That's Kubrick, wasn't it? Didn't Kubrick do the original one? And
yeah, that's
Daniel Day-Lewis was in like a newer version of it, but like the 90s, 80s, 90s. I don't remember. Never seen them.
What is Lolita? What did you say?
It's a famous story about a guy who's like in love with a young girl. She's like 15 or 16.
Good grief. In Lust, you mean? Good grief.
Was it younger than that?
14, yeah. I think
yeah, okay. Yeah, she's very young.
Yeah.
But it's a famous book, and then Kubrick made it as a movie. I think he basically made it as like a challenge because it's like an unadaptable movie. And he made it in he made it in like the early 60s when like that stuff was still pretty buttoned up. So,
I mean, if you think about it, when this movie came out, 1982, right? Women were different back then. What women did, just in general, I'm not gonna stand on any hill and preach about anything, because I was born in 82, so I don't. But for as far as I understand it, dude, like just the average woman, like the professional woman was kind of a newer thing, wasn't it, in the 80s? So like this was probably just really speaking to women getting out and doing what they wanted and not necessarily living by
just being a wife, housewife, and
you know, and
it's kind of like the mid 80s before you really see that, I think.
Yeah.
Like Working Girl and shit like that. That's girls in the workforce. That's a good point.
So this movie, when it came out was probably pretty interesting, man. I don't know. Not a lot to talk about after what we've said thus far, but I enjoyed the movie. I'll probably buy a copy. I appreciate you guys watching it.
Yeah, no doubt.
Oh, yeah. And anybody that's watching this, man, like, let me know what it is you know about all of this stuff. If you know something about the movie that we didn't talk about, let me know. And if you know something about Riot Grrrl specifically, but women and punk, dude, let me know, man. I'm looking for any information I can get to help with the videos. But I also just, the more I do the channel, the more I realize I just want to know as much as I possibly can. I never really thought I cared about knowing stuff. I guess I do. So. Yeah, I thought I was good, just liking what I like, man. I don't think that's the case anymore, man. But
I love learning history of certain things. That's cool.
So when I was younger, I was too busy doing stuff to try to stop and like really
look.
I never really
about anything.
Yeah, I never really stopped and like how they always go, stop and smell the roses. Like you're like, I never stopped to do any of that. I never paid attention. I was just go. Write my own music, play my own band, listen to the 5 bands I like. I got to go to work anyways tomorrow. I'm not going to be here when I'm 30 anyways. So like, it was just go. Now I'm looking at my life from a completely different angle going, I wish I'd have slowed down a little bit, and just learned some more stuff. But